Hello, I'm Joseph Emanuelli from your Costa Rican connection. And today I'm here with one of my trusted advisors and legal advisors, Rolando Gonzalez from Cordero Cordero Abogados, which is attorneys in English. So let's get started. Rolando, thank you so much for allowing me to come in today and to ask you a couple of questions about Costa Rica real estate law and things that some of the viewers should be able to know about before they make a decision to buy real estate.
You are welcome, Joseph.
Thank you.
Cordero Cordero.
That's one of my favorite places to be. Okay, let's get started. Rolando, I get a lot of questions from people who are inquiring about beachfront property. Can you give me a little explanation about the ownership types of beachfront property?
Sure, thank you, Joseph. In Costa Rica, we basically have three types actually of shoreline or beachfront property.
Okay.
One would be the concession land.
Okay.
The other one would be the title land. And the third one is a very specific, very special type of property that is within the Polo Turístico de Papagayo. And that is a very, very specific, different type of beachfront property.
That's the ICT, correct?
That is correct, yes. I would say that most of the shoreline in Costa Rica is concession.
Okay, perfect. And if somebody wants to, can a foreigner own concession property to have beachfront?
Well, concessions are actually not owned. Concessions are like a lease agreement. Concessions are controlled and supervised and granted by the municipality of the county where the property is. And in order for you to get a concession, you have to apply for it and go through a process before the municipality. And foreigners can actually be part or apply for a concession when and if they have been residents for over 5 years. Okay. Also, they could apply through a vehicle such as a company or corporation, but there are some rules that restrict the ownership of those entities to they have to be owned or and controlled by Costa Ricans or foreigners that have been residents for over 5 years for 51% or more of that.
So basically, if a foreigner wants to own Costa Rican concession beachfront property and they're not here as a legal resident for 5 years, they can own it through or lease it through a Costa Rican corporation that is controlled by 51% ownership by Costa Rican.
By Costa Ricans,
okay,
and or foreigners that have been here for over 5 years as legal residents.
Okay, so basically there's, it can be a little bit risky since I believe the concession can only be for 20 to 25 years.
They're typically granted for 20 years or 25 years, yes, that is correct. They can be renewed, but you have to apply for the renewal, and it's a process.
It's a process. And if I'm not mistaken, property taxes for concession land or canon taxes is much higher than fee simple property as well.
That is correct, yes.
So personally, myself, living here in Costa Rica, I go to the beach all the time. I don't need to be beachfront. I'm happy with my title property.
Correct.
Fantastic, great. Let's go down to the next question. Can you explain to me the different types of corporations that a foreigner can own here in Costa Rica? I know there's quite a few, but basically the ones that are easiest to manage and to own.
Yes, there are basically two types of entities or business forms. One would be the Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada in Spanish, Limited Liability Company in English.
Kind of like an LLC in the US and Canada?
That is correct.
Similar?
Yes, very similar, actually.
Okay.
And we also have Sociedades Anónimas, corporations in English. In the last couple of years, the limitadas or limited liability companies have been the most chosen or used type of vehicles by foreigners because of its flexibility and also because they have some advantages for U.S. citizens on tax planning for them.
Perfect. And the anonymous corporation is basically a corporation that has a board of directors that runs the corporation.
That is correct, yes.
And the owners are only disclosed within the legal corporate books of the company.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Good, good. So there's different options depending upon what somebody would like to own or how they would like to hide or protect their assets.
Yes.
Okay, good, terrific. So if a foreigner decides to buy property here in Costa Rica, like myself, although I am a resident now, I was a foreigner for a while. Do I still have the same rights, or does a foreigner have the same rights as a Costa Rican citizen for property ownership?
They do. They do have the same rights and duties as Costa Ricans. That's a constitutional right granted by the Constitution of Costa Rica, with the exception of concession, as we
discussed earlier. So that's good, so that anybody can come and feel safe that they have the same rights as a citizen of Costa Rica to own property here. That's really great. That's really good, friendly laws for foreigners to invest in. That's a great idea. All right, I'm going to ask you just one more question. You know, some clients ask me all the time, what are my closing costs going to be here in Costa Rica? And I know that it's different depending upon the type of property they buy or how they acquire the property, whether it's through a transfer of assets or if it's a transfer of shares of the corporation. Can you just give a little detail about that?
Sure. Basically, closing costs are for a transfer of property, 1.5% of the highest of the purchase price or the fiscal value of the property.
Okay.
Okay, sometimes the fiscal value of the property is higher than the purchase price, and therefore the land transfer tax would have to be paid on the highest of those two values.
On the highest of those two values.
Okay. And then you have to pay registration fees.
Okay.
Those are about 0.9% of, again, the highest of the purchase price or the fiscal value of the property.
And that's to ensure that the property is properly registered in the public registry system under your corporation name or personal name.
Correct.
If you decide to do so.
Yes.
And that goes straight to the government.
Yes, that's
Of
correct.
course.
Those are taxes.
Yeah, and the government always wants to get their cut of everything. Doesn't matter where you are.
Correct. Then you have to pay legal fees.
Okay.
Legal fees are around 1.25% of the purchase price.
Of the purchase price.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you have to pay escrow fees. Escrow fees are usually a percentage also of the purchase price, but we have a special rate with some of the escrow companies, and I would say that for most transactions, the escrow fees would be around $600.
No, that's very reasonable. And that's money well spent. So this way the money, your money, if you're buying a property, is going to a third-party fiduciary company that's registered here in Costa Rica.
Supervised by the government.
And supervised by the government, and your funds are well protected that way.
Correct.
Yeah, you never want to send your money directly to the seller or the seller's attorney because you may never get the property.
Correct.
Exactly. Fantastic. Well, Rolando, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know you're very busy here at Cordero Cordero, and I just want to shake your hand as always. It's a pleasure to be with you, my friend, and thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
So just remember, folks, when you're coming to Costa Rica and you're looking for trusted advisors, contact me at CostaRicaConnection.com. That's www.CostaRica-connection.com. And you can read lots of articles and see some videos there, or you can send an email directly to me at jaaechef@gmail.com, and I'll reply right away. Thanks a lot and have a great day, and look forward to seeing you here in this beautiful paradise of Costa Rica.